I'm Allendale's Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your midday weather update. Current surface analysis across the United States doesn't show any major issues here. We still have warm air surging northward through the Great Plains and through the Corn Belt. We've got this that's going to continue for probably another couple of days at least. In the plains, this actually looks like it's going to continue on through next week as well. Cool air that tries to work down into the eastern part of the country will not make it much past the western part of the Corn Belt. So we're going to be seeing an east versus west kind of setup again as we go through the later part of March. Generally speaking, this should allow for a fairly significant precipitation pattern to break out in the Corn Belt and the Deep South. We've seen the Deep South have that already. We're just going to wait to see whether it can come together over the Corn Belt. Here's my latest look at the models. First of all, here domestically, we've got another big slug of moisture that's going to be coming off of the western Gulf of Mexico up into the lower Mississippi Valley as we finish out the week, going through Friday and into Saturday. Good moisture, maybe an inch or more up and down the Mississippi River Valley through Arkansas and into Boot Heel of Missouri, and then across the southern half to third of Illinois and the southern half of Indiana. So we're going to look at good rains there. You go farther north and west, though, nothing out of this. So the upper Midwest, Iowa, northern parts of Missouri, northern half of Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, nobody there getting anything out of this little weekend batch. As a matter of fact, high pressure will dominate. Where things get a little bit interesting, and I'd even say a bit squirrely, continues to be early next week. Now, we have seen the European model back off the intense push of cold air right away as we go through the first part of the week, but we do see still a fairly significant low moving across Ontario and into southern Quebec. We'll feel the southern end of that work its way through the Great Lakes as it passes by, but I don't think it makes it much farther south than, let's say, I-80 in terms of precipitation. There will be cool air that comes in behind that, looking at a Canadian high moving across the Corn Belt, the eastern Corn Belt, as we go through the midweek next week, but then that should be replaced by a fairly significant pattern of warming again toward the end of the week. Will it be enough to take temperatures back above normal? That's the big question. You've got models arguing. The GFS model says yes, well above normal temperatures the second half of next week. The European says, no, it's actually closer to normal. Now, either way, we are looking at another push of cool air probably as we go on toward the end of the forecast period from the 19th through the 22nd, 23rd. I'm looking at temperatures there about 5 to 10 degrees below normal. Keep in mind, though, normals are increasing every day, so it's not like we're looking at brutal cold coming soon. Shifting gears to other areas to pay attention to, Central Plains, hard red winter wheat belt there, definitely looking dry short term. We have no threat of rain through the rest of this week and honestly through about the middle of next week. As the cool air tries to work its way into the nation's eastern third, the second half of next week, we do see a front that sweeps across the plains in general, has no more than about a quarter to a half an inch of moisture with it, maybe a cluster of thunderstorms trying to fire off in Texas and Oklahoma. What I find real interesting about this weather scenario is right now, the system seems to want to split, get moisture from Nebraska northward through the northern plains, get action in Oklahoma down into northeast Texas, but that leaves most of Kansas, northern Oklahoma, the Texas panhandle, all dry with the way this current solution is. We could be seeing a condition story start to emerge here across the plains, especially with the well above normal temperatures in here for the short term. A lot of evaporation, a lot of drying happening as this wheat tries to come out of dormancy. International weather not showing a lot of change. One thing that I do want to bring to the forefront here, we are seeing a little bit of dry air starting to move into parts of Argentina after a front lifts through the northern part of the state late this week. One thing that we are seeing, a couple of models are starting to suggest maybe some above normal temperatures. I saw one person put out on social media that Argentina was going to bake with 95 plus degree temperature readings. I guess I'm not in that camp yet, but I am watching maybe for a slightly warmer push of air in over central Argentina. So we'll have to see if that develops, and secondly, what kind of impact it has. Everywhere else, the weather pattern stays about the same as we've been talking internationally. We've got some delays on bean harvest coming here as we finish out the rest of this week. Moisture moving slowly through Mato Grosso, Goiás, and Minas Gerais. As we take a look at wheat weather over in Russia, well above normal temperatures, and still not a lot of precipitation, although, as we mentioned yesterday, things are getting a little bit better. That's the way your forecast is stacking up. If you need more weather information, give us a call at Allendale. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.